Sell me this pen. I'll sell you this pen. I'll throw in a pencil and a chess notation book. I'm a straight white male in business. And I missed that window where straight white men in business got to do whatever they wanted and still get promoted. Charlie Kirk got shot today. Opinions on the state of the world and concerns for the future aside, thoughts go out to Charlie Kirk's friends, family, and of course, followers. That shooter appears to be a boomer. Damn young people, we're just troubled. We're just troubled. Be tough. Oh shit, it's one of us. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. They let him out of the psych ward. Doesn't fit the narrative corporate America wrote. I cope with tragedy through humor. I don't know what else to do. Leads to a lot of loneliness. If that shooter would have picked up chess, he would have developed the confidence to learn other skills, such as conversing with other humans, listening, seeing people's perspective, and most importantly, putting the gun down. I'm going to watch two clips. One is Dina Belenkai's podcast. I skipped straight to the Can Online Chess Be Taken Seriously? And the second clip is of the Dan Plan, which is from this book. I ordered this book off Amazon. Probably my first sign. I wasn't going to last at Walmart. In like April of lockdown. And I thought I was going to use it to teach myself code, which I was already fairly well versed in code. But if I'm going to be crazy enough to apply ideas grandmasters, ballerinas, violinists, memory champions used to train to code, and my competition is a bunch of people who have families, are cool with working as little as possible, I'll be a star. They didn't want a star. They wanted a good little bitch who nodded his head up and down. But that was my first introduction to the Polgar sisters and the Dan Plan. Dan Plan is, of course, more relatable to me because the Polgar sisters started very, very young. But basically, at age 30, a guy named Dan was sick of listening to his coworkers complain about relationships, not getting promoted, just the normal office gossip. Some of his coworkers mentioned their dreams, probably, and regrets. I'm too old now. So at age 30, Dan quit his job and said, I'm going to be a professional golfer. He played about 5 rounds his whole life until age 30. Quit his job. Said, I'm going to be a professional golfer. Now, to Dan's credit, he did it the right way. He didn't play a round of golf for, I forget the exact amount of time. He might cover it in this clip. He didn't play a round of golf for months. Got a coach, drill after drill after drill. Dan chose the wrong vehicle to prove his points. Because though golf is not the most physical endeavor, there's certainly a physical component to it, and natural talent plays a much bigger role than a mental sport like chess or memorizing playing cards, which is a sport, by the way. Memory champions are very fascinating people. And after we watch those 2 clips, I'm going to break down my over-the-board games. Between 3 and 5. I don't remember how many. I'm very specific how many I decided I would do my second review. If there wasn't much interesting in the game or new, I usually just do my first review and I mark it as good enough. So I'm on my second review for last weekend's games. He was a photographer. He was a photographer. That's what it was. Listen to this lunatic. I love him. He's on my list of people I'd like to meet, actually. Jordan Bennington, the St. Louis Blues hockey goalie. Bit of an underdog story for Jordan Bennington. That's probably number 1. Tom Brady's up there. And Dan's getting up there, too.
I'm a professional golfer by practicing for 10,000 hours.
I want to be friends with you. I don't have a lot of friends these days.
My name's Dan McLaughlin, and I'm trying to become a professional golfer. I started golfing when I was 30 years old, and I decided to quit my job and dedicate my life to attempting to become a professional golfer by practicing for 10,000 hours to see how far you can go. The reason I wanted to do this was more to prove that anything in life is possible. In the jobs and the people I've known in the past, everybody's had an excuse for something. Everybody's wanted to be a designer, but they said, oh, I can't draw, or wanted to go into finance and say, oh, I'm just bad at math. And everybody is always had something that they said that they're bad at and something that they said that they're good at. But my whole theory is that you're only bad at things that you don't try. What I wanted to do is basically take something I had absolutely no experience in and see how far you can go, and not see how far you can go as a 5 to 20-year-old, but as an adult to see if you can really succeed in a brand new field. My first memory of golf was when I was about 5 years old. There was a man who lived in the neighborhood. He was a really nice guy, and we had this lake, and he would always have all the little kids hit golf balls into the lake, and he actually gave me a left-handed, 2-foot-long driver, and he told my brother and my parents that he thought I was a natural at golf, and that he wanted to kind of teach me golf. But then, literally a week later, he had a heart attack and died in his sleep at 45. So I never, got those lessons, or never, pursued it as a 5-year-old. I loved the club, but I didn't have any golf balls. So, but that's
14 years
definitely
ago,
my first
now.
Golfing memory, and probably the only one from 5 to about my early 20s. Every time I visited my brother in Omaha, Nebraska, we would play golf. So as far as my golf experience goes, I think I played maybe 4 or 5 rounds of par 3 9-hole golf in Omaha, Nebraska, and one condensed summer school class in college. I took golf, but I never went. So I think I never, because you didn't have to go in the days you actually practiced golf. You only had to be there for the test. So I read a book on the theories of golf and got an A in the class, but I never actually played. A little far again, but at least I'm not in the sand. I literally did not know if I would play golf left or right-handed when I first started. My first lesson with my coach, when I found my coach for the plan, we actually just putted both left and right hand.
I literally don't know if I'm going to swing the club left or right-handed. Can you imagine if he actually made the PGA Tour and that experiment were completely successful? Oh, Jordan Spieth, you're my idol. Hey, Tiger Woods. Hey, about 5 years ago, I was trying to figure out if I'm left or right-handed. Now I'm on the PGA Tour. Oh, it's a good thing I come from a good family and had a perfect upbringing. I'm athletic, so my friends were always gifted to me through sports, which got me very socialized. But I've never liked social settings. I don't get energy from it. I could have been like the Joker from Batman. Like I'll do a lot of things for a good laugh. I can't let it go. If something's extremely funny, look at the introduction of this video. I didn't fucking shoot Charlie Kirk. I think it's ridiculous. I gotta live in this world. That's how corporate America views mental health and problems in general. Suck it up, be tough. No one's gonna deal with this shit. That's why people keep getting shot. I have to laugh or I'll cry. But if I were Dan and I actually got that good at golf to where I could play on the PGA Tour, I would just be ready to let them have it every time I did something good or they did something bad. In chess, someone would have to piss me off first, but I'd be the same way. You get excited. Good for you. You've been playing since you were 4. One kid who just became a master, his dad waits for him in the lobby and waits for the result, of course. And I walked out and I wanted to say, it's okay, Dad. He got me. He's 2,200. I was like 1,300 at the time. I had no business playing him. And that is just hysterical. I don't know if I'm going to swing left or right-handed, but I'm going to become a professional golfer after not golfing for the first 30 years of my life.
I wanted to see
Also, the kind of attitude
where I should go with this. So I mean, I knew who some of the people were, like Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, and some of the bigger golfers in the world. Jack Nicklaus or Nicholson, I don't know which is which. The way I saw it is, I wanted to do something that was documentable. You could tell that story by becoming a plumber or architect or doctor. But there's a few reasons that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something that you could statistically show your growth in. With golf, you can go outside, you can post up your stats, people can follow along and see how your improvement goes. And I wanted to do something that I had no experience in. I'd never done it in athletics.
Learn the guitar.
So I figured athletics would be a good avenue. With golf, there's not really an age limit, so to speak.
Yeah, there's an age limit.
So, I could start at 30 and still by 40, you could be a professional and you could actually have a career as a professional. Whereas tennis,
See, this is where I love the idea, and this is the only way things get changed. New ideas get implemented by narrow-minded people, which are a lot of people in power. They don't want anything different. Dan, who we're listening to right now, is ambitious enough to try it and be smart and deliberate about his practice. There's a song called Deliverance by Bubba Sparks. And in that song, Bubba Sparks says, legends are made out of vulnerable men. So on the brink of death, I still manage living life, because so rarely in this world are these chances given twice. I indeed sold my soul without glancing at the price. No instructions when I was handed this device, but with what I did give, I was more than generous. Put others of myself on several instances. Now I'm back on my feet without a hint of bitterness. And one way or another, I shall have deliverance. So I say, I've been traveling for some time, with my fishing pole and my bottle of shine. And my bottle of shine on these long, dark, dusty roads, roads. I was looking and had nowhere to go. So I gotta hide away, far away, 'cause I gotta find my way. You recall a time people loved you unconditionally. Toast to the new South. This one is for history. Then I slipped, fell in, caused some numbers injury. Called the same people in the show. You just missed them. It's that formula. Damn it, Bubba, you had it. Why'd you keep it redneck? Polo and New Balance. People start to question whether he's a true talent or just a redneck substance abuse addict. I digress. Legends are made out of vulnerable men. But then you got to build off the findings. Like my chess progress, I'm about 1,500 to 1,600 over the board right now. I took a break, which I should not have done, learn my lesson. Now I'm 30 years old. When I was 25, I am the perfect study. Smarter than the average person, no genius. College scores well above average. Not stellar, not quite cum laude. Of course, I didn't want to be. Tech. It has some relevant concepts to chess. So then you have to get a 25-year-old that doesn't start during COVID lockdown, play online. Have a real coach, schedule the tournaments for him or her. So there's no stress, not dealing cards overnight, sleep deprived. Go. Get them to about where I'm at in a matter of a year. It's doable. I think so. Now, I have a lot of advantages long term because I've played more, failed more. I've got a lot of, not mental toughness, but just like the mental aspect of talking to myself right during the game that you wouldn't just get in a year of play. But it takes a few failed attempts to really have that successful experiment. And I wonder what Dan was thinking. I'll be 40 years old, then it's time. I'll be good enough to be a professional. Tiger Woods retired at about 40, probably. Arguably the most naturally gifted human to ever touch a golf club. And he was on, the late night show and all the shows as a kid. Man, this kid's special. What's going on with him? So he started that early, and he's more gifted than all of us. And he still didn't play forever. So what are you talking about, Dan? At 40 years old, you'll have your 10,000 hours or more, and you'll be ready to be a PGA player when even the very best in the world who played since they were 4 and are more naturally gifted are done or injured. Question his thinking there. Last point. Golf. There is a lot of torque. A lot of baseball players figure golf out a little quicker because it's the same explosive movement. All those joints working together. Can't just use arms, can't just use legs. It's your whole body in unison. Being strong has little to do with it. Some of the best hitters in baseball, even power hitters, are not, bench pressing more than me, but they hit a ball really far. And some of that is just fast twitch muscle fibers, the right parts of your body being genetically superior than everyone else. Golf was a terrible idea, but the study is cool.
Golf. More than anything I've ever done, golf is constantly teaching me about life. Golf is an art too, so I feel like it's half athletic and half pursuit of like artistic perfection. I don't love
It's like
everything about golf
physical.
and the idea and some of the connotations and kind of like how it can be seen as like a rich man's sport or an exclusive country club type sport. I mean, there's a lot of those type of aspects that I don't really appreciate, but as far as being, one person on a course, and the simplicity of you have these clubs and you're trying to get this small ball 500 yards into a small hole, and the only thing in between you and that hole is you, really. I mean, there's no other issues or complications, and I mean, it's just a simple, beautiful pursuit. Like any golfer is going to be able to pick up on their swing. Like just overhearing the critique of all the old men watching golf, they're all talking, oh, look at that, Tiger's got his swing back. I don't know what happened last year, but he's back in it now. How people react is generally positive. I've never had anybody say that it's a bad idea. And what it usually does whenever I tell somebody what I'm doing, I mean, it inevitably starts a conversation about who they really want to be.
That's important. And that's why I mean what I say about the shooter or anyone who is miserable, takes it to extremes, ideally not violence, but it doesn't start off as I'm going to go shoot Charlie Kirk. It starts off as a little bit of bullying, TikTok video that sparked an idea, and then you didn't have any coping skills or confidence to avoid going down that rabbit hole. And I do like this aspect of the Dan plan or anyone who tries something similar.
And what they really want to do. So most people are like, wow, that's really cool and ambitious, and you're an idiot, for like trying to do some kind of pursuit like this. But what I've always wanted to do is pottery, or I want to be a cook, or I want to do this. And that's what's really striking about it is not so much how people react to what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, but how it brings out kind of hidden dreams in everybody. So
another important point. Dan's here to save the world. Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot Brian Thompson. Healthcare is a joke. A lot of CEOs have convinced themselves they're actually doing good for the world. I worked at Walmart corporate. I'm sure they're no exception. And the reason Luigi Mangione shot somebody and I didn't is I really do try to see that perspective. So Dan's talking about how people start talking about things they wish they would have done. And you don't have to like them or be friends with them, but you can feel sorry for them. And hopefully, in the corporate example, they would feel sorry for me. The choice is yours. During lockdown and mail to election, there was a lot more than that. Women are mad. We've got all these things about diversity. We got to bury it now. No. During a time like lockdown, I hope that they would empathize with me a little bit, just like I don't want to shoot them. Sounds extreme, but the times we're living in. I'm not analyzing your game. Silent Shadow. I hate being a streamer. A lot of corporate people are bitter, getting older. They are actually too old to do what they wanted to do. And it's ugly to take it out on anyone or be anything but kind to a young person or be an Indian giver. Like I owe them something or I should break the law, piss on the American flag in corporate tech just because you gave me a job, like all the internships, all the interns got a job. Fuck you. But that's the stem of it. It was a divorce. Someone was mean to them, and they just kept going along with what they were supposed to do. And they're bitter, and it builds up until they start hurting people. It's always and violent. But if you can see their perspective, you can forgive them and live somewhat happily in spite of how mean people are to you and others.
We're playing golf, but how we play is from 50 yards. So Christopher Smith, my golf coach, and I talked a lot with different performance experts, and especially performance experts in the field of golf, when we were coming up with the best way to tackle learning golf. And a lot of this was his idea. Actually, probably most of it was his idea of how to go about learning. But basically, what he decided and what we decided to go with was
Get a 20-year-old.
we would start from the hole and then slowly move out as you kind of mastered a certain distance. So when we first started, like, I think that literally the first month I only putted from 1 and then 3 feet.
This is very smart.
And just kind of learn that little teeny stroke. And then as I got proficient in putting from 3 feet, we moved to 5 feet, and then we moved to 10 feet, and then we moved to 15-foot lags, and then we started putting 20-foot lags. And I remember it was, first 3 months were only within 20 feet of the hole. Currently, I still, it's been 9+ months. I have a pitching wedge, a sand wedge, and a putter, and my game of golf is from 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go out and play a course, but I don't hit a driver. I walk up and drop a ball from 50 yards. So here we are, the first hole. This is we're about 100 yards out now. So I'm just going to kind of toss the ball up. And there is my tee shot. It's kind of silly, but I'm kind of not allowed to hit the ball far. So, and there's nothing more frustrating than like hitting little teeny slow shots over and over poorly. So sometimes, I'll just get one of the balls I have and just hit it as hard as I can just to see it. And you always hit it into the ground. It never goes far. But, just to like kind of take out a little bit of frustration. I kind of have a tendency or a feeling that I'll be the kind of person that throws their entire bag of clubs in a lake. But at this point now, just like taking a full swing at a ball can help get any frustrations away. Nike has provided all of the gear so far. So golf clubs, golf clothes, and all that, which really helps because golf clubs are pretty expensive. But yeah, there's no like financial backers yet. So far, I have.
That's the variable. Oh shit. The most important variable is not talent or age introduced to any complicated skill, especially mental. It is the opportunity to deploy deliberate practice over a sustained period of time. I rescued my puppy Nova. Nova's a habit. Great job, you're beautiful. March 20th of COVID, because I had the corporate life. Plenty of money, not to get personal. And I had a house, which is an asset, and over $100,000 saved. I saved every paycheck from my internships on. So because of the new house, the corporate schedule, which you don't have to do shit. You show up, you breathe, ideally do more, but you don't have to. I got a dog. Figured that'd be my life. And then COVID prolonged. Seeing how ugly some people I at least respected became and desperate they actually were with how much debt they were in, and they're making so much money. Oh, what if I get laid off? I'm like, you've been here for 30 fucking years, making twice what I make. What's wrong with you? And these are people I like. I will never go there. I will never go back to that environment. But at that time, I was, pretty much a corporate person, and it's hard to have that ripped away from you. And Nova is the biggest distraction, because if I'm at the chess club, especially the classical time control, that's 90 minutes with a 30-second increment per move. 5 of those per weekend. Like, that's a lot. And my dog's just sitting here. I can't leave her, which is why I play the shorter ones now. But if it weren't for that, I would have been able to go to literally twice the over-the-board events I've been to. And I got a table game zilling license, 60 minutes on, usually 20 minutes off. Print out a Grandmaster game, I review it at work. I don't want help because, like Dan mentioned, golf being kind of a prestigious rich man's sport, the majority of people in almost any endeavor are great, want to help if they can. But there are enough I've met, heard of, seen on social media in chess and chess business that think newcomers owe them something. Well, we want women to get involved, and they're showing a picture of a female grandmaster dominating a naked man to flip the script. Oh yeah, and men too, I guess. Yeah, well, men too. You want to be that naked man? You go try to get a date when they put you in a picture, and there's a woman that's just owning you. No. We want men to get involved in our sport too. If it's your sport, I'll go play my guitar, Jennifer Shahadi. Back away. But like Nike sponsored Dan, that story would get people who don't care anything about golf into it. Don't want to watch Tiger Woods. He's good. I get it. I've heard of him. Next. I like basketball. Dan's story gets them to golf. Just like mine would. Just like Jennifer Shahadi. Nobody cares. She was a good American woman that wouldn't have even touched the best Russians. Don't call it out, even if you're right. Back. Want nothing to do with you. And I want no help because I dealt cards. Well, he needs to earn his keep, and he needs to. I have. Believe me, I've carried my audio equipment, doing some chess interviews when I was trying to get chess.com's attention during COVID. Got my ass kicked by kids while they snicker and laugh at me. And all my friends are starting families. And nothing against Emily plays chess, Emily Higgins. You're just handing people, Tyler won, handing them attention. I'm sure money, opportunity, help. I'll be all right. I'll deal cards. I'll learn on my own. But Dan is absolutely right. The variable is opportunities to deploy deliberate practice. And that would also make tensions a lot easier because I don't respect Shahadi and some of those women who call it out. Some chess people like Magnus Carlsen attacking Hans Niemann. Magnus' dad gave everything for Magnus to have a chance to develop his talent at a young age. But I do respect their ability. And if we can accept, had my dad tossed me a chessboard instead of a baseball at age 2, I might be pretty good. And you might not be any good had you had to work when you were a kid instead of play chess. Then we can have some common ground. But just acting like, your gatekeepers is a very big turnoff. I don't know anyone anything. I don't need you. I need your approval. I'll call it out. I'll take the views. Because you don't want stories like this to not help your sport grow. And Magnus Carlsen and the Botez sisters couldn't pay people to watch chess who might believe they could do it if they heard my story.
There is my tee shot. It's kind of silly, but I'm kind of not allowed to hit the ball far. So, and there's nothing more got a little bit of frustration. But at this point now, just like taking a full swing at a ball can help get any frustrations. So far, I have 1,101 hours as of January 25th, 2011. So 11.01%. Wherever I could sleep that night. And I think there was a need for me to kind of see the world because growing up in a suburb community, you're kind of limited. In Cambodia, $50, but you can rent an RPG amount of money you could aim it at, and it took me away from who I was. So I've always seen or thought that I had a general a great I could do that, but I just don't have time because I got to go to work and I got to pay my mortgage and all that. I don't want to be like the typical David and Goliath or kind of just do it, or actually go out and follow, actually feel like this is my destiny. I feel like I was put on this planet to get really good at this sport, and I can't really describe why. I mean, it's kind of silly, but so is anything if you really think about it.
Not wrong. Okay, so that's Dan. And for a while, my plan was to play chess until I was 30. I figured people would see my content. I get a chance to commentate, which again, after some of those examples and people, I don't want to commentate. I can watch YouTube videos and improve on my table games breaks. But I plan to kind of stop at 30. It's old enough. Okay, I'm not going to get a shot. You got to make money. I'm not a kid. But like I said, table games, dealing, I can do my puzzles and stuff on my breaks. I don't sleep much, so it keeps me out of trouble at night, and I go to the tournament the next day. But I figured 30 is too old, and if I gave everything I had until I'm 30, I had more than enough money saved. That'd be the mark. I can just go make all my money back. Worst case scenario, I failed. But like the follow and unfollow on Instagram, like a post, and say I'm crazy. I guess I would have to go seek out very small female chess pages and then lie. Now I got to follow. There's a picture of me and my dog. I think it was at the club. # women in chess, being funny. The type of content that grows chess, helps women get scholarships and shit. There's more eyeballs. Women in chess, look, it's my dog. I'm bringing my dog to the club or something. Like that photo, unfollow me. Women, that's right. We're gonna teach you. We're gonna keep men in line. Oh, fuck you. I don't need that shit in my life. Leave people alone. There's no need. Just leave me alone. I've done nothing to you. Done nothing to you. Stuck up bitches. And a few situations like that just made me say, I kind of want to fucking beat some of you, which I'm a little ways off from them. They're not very good players. They're not masters or anything. Think that you're special people because you're good at a game. If you play it since you were fucking 2. I think I want to beat your ass. And then just walk away with my hands up. Don't call it out. So that was Dan. And this is, I don't know who this gentleman is. He's a grandmaster. But I watch some of the top creators' podcasts if they're talking about how adults might be able to become strong and how to use online chess, if online chess is even relevant.
Yes, well, I'm always concerned. I'm always worried. This is how I was as a chess player also. Yeah, and that's why I was cautious. I always try to make sure that before my opponent threatens anything, I already have the answer to it. Yeah, that's kind of my style. So yes, clearly I'm worried. Yeah, because I'm a classical guy. I always feel like the longer the time control, because I know that for me as a player, and for example, Linares, yeah, it was Kasparov. Yeah, comes to my mind because yeah, he was the absolute number one for all this period when I was there. That at 3:30 the game started in Linares, and it was a 7-hour time control game, and we basically played for like 3 weeks. And we had to do tremendous amount of preparation, 5-6 hours preparation for a game, and then still have all this energy. And it was like when you went to the game, then you knew that you have to have every of your strengths. Yeah, you cannot have any distractions, whatever. So you are just in a complete tunnel, and nothing else exists, just the tournament and like this. And every single second of your or minute of your time that you ask.
And this is also why what Magnus Carlsen and Chess.com did to Hans Niemann is so beyond competitive and so unforgivable. I was talking to my friend on our monthly call Sunday after my chess game. Sitting at Olive Garden when we started talking. I'm like, man, I was so depressed there for a stretch because like I moved here for chess, and you know, Chess.com has, it's not a monopoly necessarily. I see their point, but a similar concept. I mean, there's no one else that has any money. That's a platform that some individuals do. But as far as like sponsoring creators and the creator program, it's Chess.com or nothing. I wouldn't touch you. There ain't $1 billion. Fuck you. You don't do that, especially to a young American. He was a kid, Hans Niemann was. I don't care how good Magnus Carlsen is. You come as a guest here, fucking American, then fly out. No. Nope. So there's Magnus and chess.com, the two main players in chess. And I personally don't like the St. Louis Chess Club's handling of that Shahadi Alejandro Ramirez situation. If you didn't do your due diligence, then get him next time, punish him now. Don't ban him. No. Even if he's a pedophile. I'm serious about this. You charge him for being a pedophile in court. Charge him. Because it sends the message that if Jennifer Shahadi doesn't like what I just said, or had I been super kind about women, which I don't have any problem with women. I have a problem with women who call it out on social media. But if she didn't like the way I looked at her, or I beat one of her students, or lost to one of her students, and I was mad, I was competitive, and oh man, I had it. And Jennifer Shahadi just calls it on Instagram. Not only do I not get to play chess anymore, because Jennifer Shahadi said so, I'm a pedophile. I can't get a date or a job anymore because Jennifer Shahadi said so. So I'm not impressed with that at all. And also, how selfish can women be? You want to grow your game? Are you going to out of pocket pay every grant so the next Carissa Yip can forego college for a year and have $100,000 to pursue chess grandmastery? Jennifer Shahadi going to pay that? No? Ingrid, whatever her last name is, you going to pay for that? No, you need your game to grow for that, don't you? So you're not paying for memberships. You're not keeping the lights on at the club. And you want newcomers, mainly men, to say, oh, yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I would have got him too. Yeah, I get him. Instead of going, what if that's me next time? Even if he was guilty. With the call it out movement, guilty or innocent, you got treated the same if you were a target. So there's chess.com, Magnus, and St. Louis Chess Club's been great. But as far as working with them, no, because you didn't protect Alejandro Ramirez. Grateful for the tournaments. I have nothing bad to say other than that shit's crazy. And I was so depressed talking to my friend. I'm like, I'm just going to get as good as I can at chess alone. If I reach 1800, I think I'd have to have some help, but I can definitely get there without help. And that's my solution. And what that gentleman was saying in Dina's video, you need every ounce of focus, energy, time. And that's why Magnus Carlsen did it. He was knocking on the door of 2,900. That was his last push. He's too old. He's still the best ever, but he's not 29 anymore. Lose to Hans Niemann at that time, it's not losing to Fabiano or Hikaru. You'll never get it. You publicly said you want to be 2,900, and now you don't have a chance anymore. That's why you ruined Hans Niemann. At chess.com, to jump on the bandwagon is even uglier. Maybe I'm messed up. I need to be more understanding. I've got my flaws too. Leave me alone. Crazy. Especially in the end game, which is Magnus Carlsen's brightest spot. He wanted Hans Niemann every time there was an end game and Hans was winning, whether against him or someone else, to think about. News reporters harassing his mom, worrying his mom, getting wands waved extra compared to his competition. I'm about to win this game. Last time I won a game, that's exactly why he did it. What a fucking cock. What a cock. And if I say something that gets me banned, which would be stupid, because again, you'll never grow your game that way. There's my card. That's such chicken shit to not protect Hans Niemann.
Till 10:30 at your best power. Basically, this is the environment I grew up. Yeah. So now, of course, when online chess is, for example, taking over, yeah, there are big pluses and minuses. Yeah, it's like every time with everything in life. Now, for example, because there are so much more games, the players take the games less seriously because, okay, you lost one game, so what's the problem? The next game starts again. In my time, just one small inaccuracy was driving me crazy. I was not able to sleep, or I was not able to forgive myself that how could I have missed this small detail, and thanks to this I lost the chance to get an initiative or whatever. Yeah, so everything is changing, life is changing. Now that I came here to US, immediately my childhood memories from 94, 95, I spent 2 times. I played the PCA rapid qualification tournaments in New York. And those times I was listening to music. And, you know, in the 90s, the music and the albums. Yeah, Alanis Morissette's album in 95, you know, it has a soul, it has a spirit. And now when I compare it with today's music, I don't feel anything similar from today's music. Yeah, so I'm worried, of course, that yes, chess should also not lose this deepness. Yeah, this incredible deepness that every small detail matters. At the other hand, I also understand that the life is more dynamic. People want to see results faster and so on, and chess also needs to adjust. Yeah, so basically, I'm not against anything. Yeah, everything that is working and with everything that the top players are satisfied and feeling happy and the spectators are good, that's great. This esports, yes, I think it was the Prague tournament. The Prague tournament was when I was actually saying that for me the Prague tournament is very special, because there the organizers from little money are making this tradition go on and growing the event. Yeah, but they put all their heart into it. So the people, you have been there also playing the Open Dinner and so on. Yeah, it has a very lovely vibe. Yeah, now in esports there is the tremendous prize fund which lures the players there. Yeah, so there are all kinds of aspects, and of course the players have to be happy. Yeah, this is the most, and the spectators. Yeah, if this goes hand in hand, and if this helps chess to become also more and more, you know, famous and more respected. Okay, respected, I don't know, because there is tremendous respect for chess anyway. Yeah, this is the point there, that I don't think that chess needs to change in any direction, because the people are growing up to the game. Yeah, that wow, chess is something special. Yeah, this is what I feel. Yeah, for me, chess is so much more than a game or sport. It combines so many elements. It's something very unique. Yeah. And this is what I don't want, that it loses its character just to be included in esports, or it's included in online or like this. It has to stay like something very special and be part of this, part of that, all this energy, and also the people. Freestyle also helps. Now it was very interesting that in Grenke tournament, there was an all-time friend from Dortmund, with whom I met, and he played chess as a child, and he forgot about tournaments and everything. He had no time, and now he came to Grenke tournament. And then he was telling me that, you know, Peter, how great it is, because I already don't follow the opening theory and like this. And he has like a 1600 rating, and he was able to play against the 1900 guys without any problems, because it was freestyle. Yeah, so there are also the other sides of players who, for example, are lawyers or whatever, doctors, so they are busy with their other lives. They are not professional chess players, but they learned the Scandinavian, or they learned the Caro-Kann, or they learned the French defense, and they know the soul of this opening. And then they are, for example, they like the classical chess, because in classical chess I already know the motifs, I know the structure, I know what I'm playing for. Yeah, so there are all kinds of different directions. And I always feel like this is the most important. Everybody has to be satisfied. Everybody should do what he feels like. If he feels that he wants to play freestyle because that suits him, that's fantastic. If he wants to stick to classical, but there should be no this rivalry. And for me, this is kind of very important. I was always a person who never liked confrontations. I always wanted to have harmony. So let's make everyone happy. Yeah. That's the most important for me.
Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry Root is kind of like having your own personal shopper.
You said you want.
Yep, interesting. Yeah, I think whether or not online chess is good is totally dependent on your nature. I can't stop playing, so that's my fault, literally. So it'd be better for me to not play and always be rested over the board, even if I miss out on some benefits online chess offers. All right, I'm going to review one game here. Looks like I've got more games to review than I thought. I should beat a player at this level about every time. But it was pretty close. 1300 is basically going to not blunder pieces, but shouldn't have a very impressive grasp on the strategy. I'm not going to completely give the game away, but the mistakes will be fairly easy to notice. So that sequence, this I kind of thought was what decided the game. And so essentially, I'm valuing that pawn over this pawn. So I think I'm right. And it's a shorter game. It's 26 minutes. So you're going to get it, but it's going to come with check. So I wanted that pawn, and your structure is damaged. And then you have terrible pawns. I have a pretty easy target and good bishops. And I'm calculating that. I mean, really from here, I'm trying to figure out how all this is going to break down. I never would have dreamed that move would happen. But now, which, yeah, is a mistake. And I missed it, apparently. Yeah, see, those backward knight moves are not going to happen at this level. See, not that I was winning by quite a bit, which is why I kind of got a little bit lazy. Make sure I'm not giving up too much time. But I'm not winning. It's not by much. Yeah. So what I do, and what I've been doing for a while, is I have 3 pens. I have a pencil, which I use to write down, like in words, what I was thinking and where I was incorrect and why I was incorrect. It's usually just words. Black is what actually happened, including certain symbols for mistakes and accuracy, and I don't really go by the definitions for move classifications. Kind of more for just me, and for this level, like how bad was my mistake? Like a solid just box would mean it's a very bad mistake, which I also use that for blunders. Anything that I just think is unacceptable, or I should have been punished severely for, or would have blown the game against a good player is going to be a solid box. And squiggly box means I can get away with it. Even against a good player, if I play well, it's not over. Basically the equivalent of an inaccuracy on mine. And then to the side, I usually write down best moves, alternative lines. If I made the best move, but there was something else I wanted to look at, instead of a box of any sort, it's a dot. So with a dot, if I made the best move, but I wanted to look at others, it would be a slash, which indicates the first was correct, but I want to look at others. If it's a dot next to my move, that would mean how did I do this? Yeah. So a dot would mean I did not make the best move, but it does fall in the list of acceptable moves. So if I went rook a7 dot b5 slash g5 slash e4, then 2 slashes is where my move would have fallen in the sequence in terms of rating by engine. Yeah. I took a 3-month break, and I'm just now doing my second analysis for most of my games that I've played since returning from my break. But at this level, and even probably slightly higher, it's not only all about tactics, it's about getting one or two sequences right. Then this one I didn't play well. It's a shorter game. I'm starting to get more comfortable with this time control. I played good enough. I got this right. I got it just good enough. So I'll go through and I'll make all my notes. Do that for all my probably like 7 games, I guess. And I'm going to try to avoid online chess so I can get some rest and make it to both Saturday rated and Sunday rated games this weekend. Silent Shadow mentioned analyze the game. Nah, I just want to play. And if I don't get a chance to play, it's impossible to improve and create content and be funny. You got to have all your energy and focus, like that gentleman mentioned in Miss Tina's podcast. So I'll just deal cards to be a normal person. I don't want to be a streamer.